All right, what's up, folks? Today is August 19th, 2024, and we're going to do a quick video today. There were a couple questions in the TradeStation forum, so we're going to see if we can answer those questions. One of them, I saw that one of the TradeStation EasyLanguage support folks, they had already answered, but I'm going to put my spin on it. I'm going to do it my way, and we'll see what we get. So first off, let's just kind of review what happened. Oh, that is the 8 o'clock bell. All right, so first off, let's just look at see what happened with the charts today, and we'll just review that really quickly, and then we'll move on from there. All right, so this is essentially what happened today. The market opened here at 9:30. It kind of consolidated sideways for a little bit, move up, and then it took out the previous high that was attempted 1, 2, 3 times. Took that out, and then whipped back through this entire range, right, all the way through to the bottom, and then whipped back up and actually started going the actual direction. Now, I believe that there was a news event today, but I mean, it just went on all day, right? So if we go back to the 5-minute time frame, this is what it looks like. So opening today, opening here, wick down, wick back through, and then it just kept going and just made bases all along the way, and even into, yeah, so this is the end of the day. Whew. It's a lot of moving today. 590 to 630, 40 points. I mean, I'm saying 590 at the break of the opening bell run. Like I said, it moved up and then it retraced and then it pushed back through. All right, that's 5-minute time frame. I adjusted one of my indicators to, and this is what I call the node indicator, right? So as the level 2 over here makes a higher node, and this node would have to be like, say all these are 20s, 30s, 40s, it would have to be like 200, right? So now all of a sudden this node is a multiple of times larger than the average of the rest of these. All right, so when we get a node like that, when we get all of a sudden get a large area of interest, we get these indicators. Okay, and so again, we get it down here, got it at the bottom, moved up, got it at the top and moved down, got it at the bottom, it moved up. And one of the things I want to do with this indicator is instead of just plotting that something happened, I need to plot what happened. I need to plot how large this value was in comparison to the rest of the values. Or I could say, all right, well, yes, this value has to be 2 times larger than the average, but if it's 4 times larger than the average, then let's make this black. Or if it's 3 times larger than the average, then let's make this blue. Just so I can have some way to tell that this area is more significant than, say, this area, which really didn't do a lot. So anyway, all right, and yeah, I didn't look much at the rest of the inside metrics of the chart, what was going on. I think I picked out a few things. The high amount of outside orders, the ask here, that was large in this territory that, like I said, dropped below the demand before moving up. But yeah, that's all I picked out for this. But today, all right, I didn't run my indicator today because in matter of fact, I didn't run it at all. I created a script over the weekend, and I was more interested in it, and by golly daggone, it actually worked twice today. All right, so this is the script that I made online with you guys last week, right? I don't know, look back through the videos. The script is online. I made it online. It plotted lower high, lower low, plotted inside bar, plotted all these things. So I just took that script, that indicator that I made while I was online the other day, and I plugged it into a strategy, and I did some optimization on it. I did a little bit of back testing on it, but you see it bought here, took profit, bought here, took profit, and that's the only 2 trades that it took today, and both of them were good. But what I wanted to do, so I optimized it, and for whatever reason, this graph here is a graph of the optimization, right? But it's got this huge drawdown here, and I was working on trying to get that drawdown taken care of, and I made some changes, and I reran the optimization report, and it improved. However, there's some issue that the improvements did not show on this performance graph. So I'm going to try it one more time. And then if it works, it works. If it doesn't, and I already put in a request, like an order ticket, to ask the senior advisors what exactly happened. But I need to find out how come it's not showing my actual results from the optimization. All right, the switch target. Yes, this. What are we doing here? Now this is somehow moved on me. Okay, so we're gonna run the 34,000 tests. That's a lot. You guys don't want to sit through all that. Switch target offset, switch stop offset. Switch multiplier. Stop offset. Switch target. I don't think this one's supposed to run. And I reached out to one of the other great minds on the TradeStation, EasyLanguage. Yeah, I mean, he's obviously a programmer. He does quite a bit. And he said he doesn't even really use optimization. He doesn't even really optimize. What the? Okay, 6,000. All right, we're gonna go with that. All right, so I'll let that optimize for a while. Meanwhile, what the one individual was looking for, he was looking for how to modify the below the indicator script to scan for stocks that have 2 times the double of the 60 days average volume 2 days ago. So let me just kind of copy and paste the script, and we'll get to working on it while that runs in the background. It says it's got 10 minutes left, but at an average of $168 per trade, this currently here is this is at $168 per trade. So I mean, it might not look very different than this. The settings is that this is showing 4, 9, -0.5, and 5. Well, -0.5. And this doesn't really seem to be moving very much. It doesn't seem to be cycling through these tests, so I don't know if it's actually going to change anything or not, if it's really giving us any tests. But I mean, that says 10 minutes out, and meanwhile we can't do anything for 10 minutes. So You know what? I'm gonna stop it here shortly because that's 10 minutes is a long time. I plan to be off here in 10 minutes. Okay, unless you guys have any questions, we can certainly go through the questions. But if you don't have any questions, then yeah, I'll hop off here in 10 minutes. All right. Okay. Indicator. All right, so essentially, I think what we're going to do for this is we're going to make it available for the radar screen. This will be TS volume over 60-day average. Okay, I'll copy and paste it again. So his question was how to modify below indicator script to scan for stocks that have 2 times or double. Making sure that you knew that. That's what 2 times meant. That has 2 times the 60-day average volume of 2 days ago. All right, so we're just gonna comment that part out right there. All right, so apparently there's an input, which is an IMA length of 60. That's fine. The I volume percent, I guess that's percentage. Yeah, it's gonna be 200, so it's gonna be 200%. I guess that's because you're looking for it 2 times. And then you've got variables, average vol, and then vol. And if the bar type is greater than or equal to 2 and bar type is less than or equal to 5, which makes it a daily, weekly, or monthly bar, then volume is going to be equal to volume. Or else, like if it's an intraday bar, then that make the volume equal to ticks, which actually makes it volume because ticks equals volume. Let me show you what I'm talking about. All right, so there's ticks. All right, so ticks can be used in place of up ticks, down ticks. Let's go here. All right, so ticks is actually like for stocks or futures. I'm particularly looking at futures, but ticks for intraday bars, ticks is equal to the total volume. Okay, if you use the word volume, then you're only looking at the contracts traded on upticks. You got upticks, down ticks, and total, right? So if you want to capture the total volume, the total, the word is volume. If you want to capture the total quantity, then you got to use ticks. If you only want to capture the upticks, then you use volume. But again, if you're on like daily or greater, then you can use volume, or you can use ticks. Okay. All right. So that is important to know. All right. So the next thing that we're going to do is so average volume is equal to the average, and this is already a function in TradeStation. Average a volume of the length, right? So average is going to be, when you type it in, you hit the parentheses. It's going to be price and length is what you put in. That's what you get. That's what you use to calculate your average. Okay, so your average volume is going to equal the average of the value that you're using is your volume or ticks, depending on what bar you're on, and then how far out you're looking is your length. And we know that our length is going to be essentially be 60, right? Because that's IMA length. All right, so now we're going to say if the volume is greater than average volume of 1 bar ago, times out, and this is where he gets me here. So I just kind of glanced at it earlier, and I didn't pay a lot of attention to it, but now this is where I've got to look at, because the volume is greater than the average volume of 1 bar ago, and we know the average volume is at 60 period moving average times I volume times 0.01. Okay. I think Not a mathematician. I do like math. Testing me right here. But the volume, the percentage right here, if we're looking for 200%, if we're looking for it to be 200%, then in order for you to multiply that, then you have to divide by 100. So I think that's what they're doing here, is they're taking the percentage, the whole number, the integer, and they're essentially dividing by 100, which is multiplying it by 1 over 100, or 0.01. Yeah. So I'm not sure why this isn't doing what they want it to do. How to modify below the indicator script to scan for stocks that have 2 times the double of the 6-day average of the volume 2 days ago. The only other thing I'd say is, and I don't really know what it means by 2 days ago, right? So just scan for stocks that have 2 times the double of 60 days average volume 2 days ago. I mean, because if you're talking 2 days ago, then really this needs to be 2 and not 1, because 1 is asking for 1 day ago. If you want it to be 2 days ago, you just put a 2 there. And I think the script already looks fine. So once this gets done back here, we'll take a look at that. Okay, so this did move some. So these values are moving up to 0.3, 0.4, 10, 9, 4. All right, so these values are moving. That's fine. Let's see. We're up to 174 now. We were at 168. So that's good. Let's see if we get any higher volume. Any higher value. Got a minute left on the optimization report. Okay. Get that out of here. And then this is going to be up for radar screen. And how could we be slick about it? Instead of just plotting 1 and 0, we could plot how much it is over the 60-period moving average. So I'm going to put begin, end. I'm going to move this in. I want to find out what the difference is. We'll have a variable called vol difference 0. And so to calculate that, vol difference will be equal to that average volume, which is the average volume 2 days ago. 2. And we'd have to take our current volume and subtract that. Okay, now we get our difference, and now we put that over top of the average volume 2 days ago. And now that is a fraction, and now we need to multiply it by 100 to get it percent. So if it's greater, then we're gonna do this and we're gonna plot 1. And if it's not greater, then don't do anything. Well, or we just come out here and else plot to 0. Okay. All right. So what happened over here with the optimization report? Go back to performance graphs. Okay. So it looks roughly the same. That's what I say. I think something's still wrong with it though, because well, let's see. Well, maybe not. I mean, now, because when I did this earlier, this net profit was saying 11,000. It was saying 20,000 here, except for we were still getting like 11 or so thousand here. So this was saying 20,000, but this was saying 11,000. So I couldn't reconcile why this was showing one thing, but yet all of our values were equal to the values in settings. Settings will show what your values are currently for your study or your strategy. Okay, so all these are the same: 4, 9, 10, 0.9, 0.4, right? So all these. Okay, so one of the things I like to do is account for max drawdown, so negative 7,000. Find the minimum on that, which before it was saying 5,000, so this is higher also. I don't think I optimized it the same that I did before, but that's okay. All right, so the average trade 174.62. And 175.19. Let's click on this, go up here. 175.19. Okay, there we go. All right, yeah, so I mean, I guess it's working now. It wasn't working earlier. And let me see if I can pull up the image that I had from earlier to help you see what I saw. So all the times, even when you're programming, even, I mean, as great as EasyLanguage is, and the more that I'm talking to folks, especially that have a lot of experience with EasyLanguage, they're saying that EasyLanguage has a lot of limitations compared to like other programming languages. So with me not being a programmer, I don't really know. It's not limited to me. I mean, it has plenty of range for me. So maybe as I get stronger and become a better programmer, I'll start running against walls that EasyLanguage has that other languages don't have. So anyway, let's see. Here is my post. Matter of fact, open image in new tab. Okay, so this is my post. So you see here, this was saying that there was after I did my optimization and I applied this line, these values, after I applied them to the chart, it was saying that I'd be 20,000 in profit and I'd have a total of 126 trades. This is showing a total of 63 trades. Net profit 159.52. This net profit, I mean average, I don't think I showed far enough. But at any rate, they were off. They were off. So this is 4900 negative 0.5. 4900 negative 0.5. All right, let me try changing that. See what I get. 4900. I don't think I optimized this. I think this was left at 0. Multiplier 2. Multiplier 1 was still 0. I guess that was 0. 49. And this was negative. This was 0. Let's see what that looks like. See what it looks like. Bet it's gonna be crazy. Very similar. Like I said, these are the values that said it should have been, 120 some odd trades, and they're showing 65 trades. So I don't know. But this strategy looked pretty good. It looked pretty good. So even you see up here 819, we got two more positive trades on our belt. So we can definitely appreciate that. But I've got to figure out what's going on with this strategy with the optimization, and I'll get it squared away. But so what I did, there were a couple things from the way that we put the indicator together on the chart the other day. I did go back and I added a higher time frame. So I added a 5-minute time frame, or excuse me, a 15-minute time frame. And then from the 15-minute time frame, I think I said that, well, I actually made it a lot more complicated, but that's neither here nor there. Let's see. I use this empty chart over here to look at the swing highs, and so I said, all right, well, if a swing high is within a certain percentage of the following swing high, then we're going to notate that. All right, if this swing high has a following swing high within a certain percentage, then we're going to notate that. All right, hang on. All right, so then we're going to notate that, and then so if we get one of these, and then the price also drops with long bearish bar below the 200 period moving average, and then there were some other things that happened, then we're going to say, all right, turn the strategy off and don't take any more trades until you get another one of these, and the price moves over that. Okay, so essentially that's what we're doing on the 15-minute time frame. We combine that from the 15-minute time frame, added it to the strategy from this 1-minute time frame, and then we get this overall script. I don't think it's bad. I just think that it still needs a little bit more modifications, but we won't do all that right now. Let's see. This is let's go here. Let's open apps. Let's open a new radar screen, and then we're going to see what that one script looks like. What do we call it? We called it TS volume over 60-day average. TS volume over 6-day average. Gonna add that in over there. Hit OK. All right, and then let's try ESU. These are just the ones that I know off the top of my head. Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, NQU 24. All right, so we're getting errors here. Now, this is also a couple things I was going to do. I was going to do a video just on the radar screen, just because I'm doing a little bit more with the radar screen, which I haven't in the past, and so I'm learning a little bit more about the radar screen. Of course, if you come over, if you are on the chart, if you're on a chart and you apply a strategy or a indicator or a show me, and you get an error on the chart analysis, see, chart analysis, your error will come up right here in events log. Your error will come up here. All right, now if you're on the radar screen, your error doesn't come up in events log. You see, this is showing errors. It doesn't come up in events log. It didn't pop up right here. It's 8:27 now. This is 7:52. They show up right here. There's a little E right there that shows you that there's an error. So you just kind of hover over top of that and it'll show you what's going on. It says attempted divided by 0, and I know exactly what that is because there were a couple times here where I divided by a value and I didn't first check and make sure that this value was never 0, because if this value is ever 0, then it'll give that error. So I have to say, if average volume of 2 bars ago is greater than 0, then we're gonna calculate this, and then we'll plot, not just plot 1, we'll plot vol diff, and if it's not true, then it'll plot 0. There you go. Okay, so you see here, these are true, so Apple is true, right? These values are not right though. 736, 291, 1239. Those values are not right. So let's see what we got going on with those values. Values is vol diff. The average volume of 2 bars ago is greater than 2, then vol diff equals volume minus average volume of 2 bars ago, which that's this one. So it's the moving average volume over that, and then we're going to divide that by that, and then multiply it by 100. Yeah. Okay, I mean, yeah, that looks like that's it. Unless I just wasn't supposed to multiply by 100 again, but surely I was. Because we're just taking the difference of the volume to the moving average, and then we're dividing that. We're putting that over top of, that should be a decimal place. Plot 1 should be a decimal place. If I don't multiply by 100. And I know that volume is not 736% greater than it was than the 60 period moving average 2 days ago. It's no way possible. This is probably the difference. These are probably finishing on end of the day. It's set on 5 minute. We're supposed to be looking at daily. This is set on 5 minute right now, the interval. So this is probably primarily referencing what's happened on the last closing bar of the day. I can almost bet it. All right, so if we click on symbol, if we click on the top, click on symbol, if we click on one thing, then it only highlights Microsoft or only NVIDIA, only Apple. If you click on the top symbol, it highlights the whole row. Click on that, right click it, and then go to time frame, and then go down to daily. When we go down to daily, now we're getting something different. All right, so now we're showing that nothing has volume that is greater than the 60 period moving average of the volume. All right, let's confirm this. So let's open up a workspace. All right, we're going to open up chart analysis. Okay, and then we will pending data, Apple. Okay, all right, so let's well, because we made that script available for both the radar screen and chart analysis, we can just open it up. So we can say what is it, TS click delete net change per increment. Nah, what was it? What is it called? Volume over 6-day average. Boom, hit that. Boom, hit that. Okay, so here we go. It looks ugly. Looks ugly. We need to be on the daily time frame. Okay, and let's see. The black one is. There's a black one here. That's plot 1. I don't know why it's not giving us a name. Let's give it a name. Plot 1, ball difference equals volume percent over 60. 60. We'll just put average, and then we'll just leave it black. Okay. All right. So now when we go back and highlight it, hey. All right. Should have changed our plot 1. Plot 1. Plot 1. You see it's renamed. Volume percent over line. Don't automatically connect. We need to not automatically connect these because they won't always be connected. Because sometimes we're going to have a plot 2, nothing there, and sometimes we're going to have plot 1. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to make another simple little indicator. Yeah, we'll make a separate one. Like I said, just to visually see what's going on. We'll call this one, got a lot of indicators, man. TS 081924 delete, because I don't want to keep all these things. All right, so we're gonna plot 1 is going to be the volume 60 period moving average of the volume. Plot 2 is going to be the current volume. Right? Bum, 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 bum. All right, and these can be lines, but yeah, we'll make the average blue. Okay, so TS 081924. TS 081924. All right, where are we at? There it is. Delete. Okay. All right, so for the average, it's going to be a line. For the plot 2, it's going to be histogram. Change that color though, because boy can't work with yellow. Okay. So now the yellow is the actual volume. The blue is the 60 period moving average of the volume. And you see on these days, the volume is greater. But remember, we want it to plot when the volume is over the 60-day period moving average from 2 days ago. Right? This one's so this one should have showed up, right? So and these here also. So let's click on this. Let's take it off a line and make it points. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so on these instances right here, this volume here happens to be greater than the blue line 2 points ago. But you look at this one, you say, hey, Eric, this height here is greater than this blue line 2 points ago also. So how come it didn't fire off on this one? Good question. Good question. I don't have the answer. All right, so let's see. Over 6A average. So you'd be a little naive to think that you could just write up a script and you don't have to check it, you don't have to proofread it, you don't have to do anything like that. This is part of the checking, the proofreading, the proofing process, if you will. So yeah. All right. So bar type, average volume is equal to average of volume. Okay. Volume of 60. And volume is greater than average volume of Wait a minute. You're taking the volume of 2 days ago and you're multiplying it by the that should be right. Volume is greater than average volume of 2 bars ago is greater than 0, then we got a number to work with. So now we're saying that the volume difference is equal to current volume minus that average volume of 2 days ago divided by average volume of 2 days ago. And fraction multiplied by 100. Does anybody see the error of my ways? Anybody see the error of my ways? The only thing I can think of at this point, because this one should fire off too. So what's that? This one should be working as well. Unless something is tricky with the volumes and the ticks. Let's go to bar type. Make sure that the bar type is operating properly, because I don't do a lot with setting up my bar types like this. But as long as this bar type is right, the daily is between the 2 and the 5. Yeah, it's daily, weekly, monthly between the 2 and essentially 2 and 4. So bar type is greater than or equal to 2 and is less than 5. Yeah, so between 2 and 4. Volume is equal to ticks. Volume is equal to volume. Yeah. And we are on the daily chart here. Okay, volume is greater than 2 bars ago. Just gonna take this out for a minute. See what happens. Yeah, that's what I thought. We're just gonna divide this by 100 decimal places. Yep, but that's the same as multiplying it times 0.01, which I would never do it that way, but you know, interesting that they would do it that way. But I'm obviously it's got something to do with this average volume being greater than 0. Because that's the gatekeeper. This is it should be plotting 1 once we get in here. Unless, for whatever reason, this script that I wrote down here, there's something wrong with the blue line, the moving average. So plot 1 is average of volume of 60 bars. That's right. That's right. And essentially I could say, if, I think I can do this. If plot 1 is greater than plot, no, if plot 2, which is the volume, is greater than plot 1 times 2, then plot 3 is going to be, well, plot 3 at plot, well, either we'll plot 3 at plot 2, the volume. Can we do it this way? Wow. Okay, I didn't know. This is new for me. I don't always do it like this. All right, so we're gonna make that as histogram. Do that. Don't automatically connect. And those C. Now we get this. So this is corroborating what we're getting up here. Corroborating. All right, so essentially what I did was I just said that, all right, here's the volume, here's a 60-period moving average of the volume. If the volume gets to be more than, all right, I gotta take a break. I'm done for the night. I'm done for the night, guys. I mean, this is way too easy. The reason why these didn't fire off is because these are greater than the 60-period moving average, yes, but they're not 2 times greater, right? They're not 2 times greater. And the strategy, the script is saying we need it to be 2 times greater. Now, so if you want to do one more just kind of area of comparison, you can say, hey, where is the 2 times greater line? How do you visualize that? Plot 4 is equal to plot 1 of 2 bars ago times 2. Okay, and that's your 2 times line right there. All right, you see that? I'm gonna make it a little bit thicker. Hit OK. Now that's your 2 times line. So when this volume gets to be over this 2 times line, it's gonna fire off. Boom, fire off. Boom, fire off. Boom, fire off. All right, so again, I don't know what this guy is looking for in this script, but we all like making scripts for one reason or another, and you know, I'm sure they see something in it, which is kind of cool. I'm curious of what you see in it. If anybody else sees anything very valuable in it, be sure to let me know. Put it in the comments or something like that. Let's dive into this even further, right? If you got another idea of what we should be looking for to help get better entries here, right? So, you know, I don't know what it is. But all right, so now we take this, we go back to where we were at before, which is the radar screen. And so now with, again, this script applied to the daily chart, which now we know we have some confirmation that it works properly. It's applied to the daily chart on all these scripts, right? So none of these show up as being activated for today. All right, so what, ES, Apple, NVIDIA, Microsoft, let's do this. All right, so we're gonna open we're just gonna come over here. I'll take this, copy it. You can copy and paste your windows. I don't know if you knew that. You can copy and paste your windows. Here, paste, okay. And now with it pasted, make it a little bit smaller. We'll do this. Okay, now you do your Windows linking up here. Link this green. Link this green. Okay, so now when you click up here, it'll change over here. Right, so actually all of these, that's kind of crazy, ES. Oh, that's ESU24, so we got to do at. I don't know if we can do at ES here or not. Okay, so at ES didn't do it either. All right, so at ES. All right, so at ES, and so maybe this is what the gentleman was looking for, which now you're like, oh, okay, well, maybe they're onto something, right? Because you see here, when the price came down and retraced, right? It came down and retraced. This volume just tapped over 2 times the 60-period moving average of the volume from 2 bars ago. So maybe they're on to something. I don't know. All right, but it's not active on today. If it was active on today, then this would be lit up with the value here, the value of how many percentage points it is over the 60-period moving average of the volume from 2 bars ago. All right, so and then at NQ isn't gonna, gotta use at NQ, not NQ24, because this is the monthly portion of the monthly contract for ES or NQ. All right, and then so that's ES. Okay, NQ didn't cross over. NQ has quite a bit of gap there. Again, NQ and ES, they do different things. That's why, like, pretty much anything you see me do with programming at this point is primarily going to be with ES, just so I can focus on one thing, knock it out of the park, and then I'll go and I'll, expand to other things. But here you see for Microsoft, it did a similar thing. It came down, just tapped right over the 2 bars ago 6-period moving average of the volume, and it did the same thing here, right? Before it moved back up. I don't know. I think this gentleman might be on to something. Okay. All right. Well, and not everything is going to work every time. I can tell you that. I don't know a lot, but I know that. Why is NVIDIA's volume drying up through here? That's crazy. Okay. And Apple kind of is the same way. Like high days of volume and then it just simmers to nothing. Okay. All right, and that almost touched it right there. That almost touched it. And then what it do from there? Moved up. Okay. All right. So, cool. All right, but so again, so if you do have any issues with your script on radar screen, if you put something kind of funky in there, and then you could in here on your radar screen, you will have your errors not verified, or you'll have some type of error show up in this box. It will not show up on your events log. Events log shows up. Well, I guess I see the study not verified shows up here, but the errors, they show up as a little E right inside here. And okay, so I'm gonna just do one other indicator. Somebody had another question. They were wanting to know. I don't know if I can pull it up. Let's see. And this was a fairly easy one, but well. All right, so we're gonna open this one up. This was their question. All right. TS 081924 V3 delete. Okay, so there's a question. Using a day or session indicator inputs set to 0, true. What's going on? Yeah. I'm using day or session indicator input set to 0. Set to 0, true, 1. What? Showing me the high and low for the day on intraday chart. What I wanted to do is shade a rectangle, say orange, if the current day high and low is greater than the previous day high and low. Okay. All right. And like a lot of this you want to do an actual market hour so you can see it moving and you can kind of check it throughout the day. Again, this is another thing that's cool with TradeStation is you want to be sure that you do go in here and you make you change your shortcuts or your hotkeys. So this is how you do it, because I just had to do it the other day. You go to, I think it's tools and then customize, and then you go to keyboard and then you click on whatever you want to click on, and then you go here to put your short key in, and then you hit assign and you save it. Okay, so I'm gonna just take all this, highlight it, and then I hit my shortcut, and then it just comments it all out. Okay, so essentially what we want to do is we want to have a rectangle show up, an orange rectangle show up if the current day's high and low is greater than the previous day high and low. Okay, all right, so we're going to have something, variable 1, we'll have it called higher high, higher low. And we're going to make it true false. Okay, all right, so higher high, higher low is going to be equal to if today's high, the high of day of today is greater than high of day of yesterday, and the low day of today is greater than the low day of yesterday. And you saw the stuff pop up when I was typing it. So essentially, these are just functions provided by TradeStation, EasyLanguage. They're native to the environment. And for 0 means it's talking about high of day today. 1 is 1 day ago. 2 is 2 days ago. Okay, so again, we're saying that the high of day today is greater than the high of day yesterday, and the low of day today is greater than the low of day yesterday. All right, so that's going to be assigned to higher high, higher low. Okay, now if higher high, higher low, then so if higher high, higher low is true, then we want to do what? We want to create a rectangle. So and actually, so there's a difference between creating a rectangle and updating the rectangle. We're going to, but again, this is the part where asking the questions comes into play, because where do you want the rectangle to be? Do you want the rectangle to be at between the high and the low and just kind of move it straight across? Do you want it to be at a certain place on the chart? Like on my charts, I have, rectangles throughout, and they're just in certain positions, right? So like this rectangle here, it encapsulates the time. I had rectangles on here for news events, but oh, and then I have different stuff like on my Discord alerts where it's not a rectangle, but it's a position that just stays in place. So it's an area that's going to hold your information so you can look back to it every time. All right, so I'm just going to code it like that. I'm going to say that, and then we'll just color it. We'll shade it orange if it's higher, and we'll shade it black if it's not. Okay, so we're going to do once, and typically I do my once statements at the beginning after the variables and inputs. Once, begin, end. We're going to take a rectangle and we're going to say new rectangle. Actually, we're going to go ahead and create the rectangle. We're going to say rectangle.create. And you see it didn't pop up with anything. Why didn't it pop up with anything? So we can kind of auto-complete it, because we don't have those namespaces in. EL system. We're drawing, so we need using EL system.drawing. And then we need using EL system.drawing object, so we can add it to the chart. So now that we have the rectangle, we can go back and do create. You see it pops up, hit that. Now we need the two points. BN point is a bar number point. We're gonna do XY point. That would have put it at one specific point on the chart. So XY point, and this is the part that'll get tricky. XY point dot create. XY, I think we'll go like 300. Oh, we'll go 250, and then we'll go down 15. And then for the second point, we'll go XY point dot create 250, 260, and then we'll go down 25. Okay, hit that, and then we can go ahead and add it to the chart. So drawing objects dot add rect. Okay, rect we hadn't added yet. So rectangle rect initialize as null. That we got to close this parentheses. Recto. Easy. Okay, so there we go. Now we got this to continue with. Get that out of there. All right, so this should be enough to draw it on the screen. Okay, so we're gonna come back here and then TS, I think it was this one, and hit OK. And then I don't see it. Oh, there it is. You see that little box right there? That little baby box. That little baby box. So we got to go a little bit further over. We got to go over 400. Let's go 400. See what that does. 400. That's all it did. Okay. No, that's not possible. That's not possible. Well, that's not possible. Is that a factor of, that's what? So, because I know I've used like 200, 300 in the past, and I think it went over further than that. That's 1,000. That's crazy. Okay, 2,000. Okay, all right. Maybe it was 1,500. Yeah, maybe it was 1,500. All right, so 1,500 there, and then we'll go over 1,550. Okay, so there's our little box. We'll make it a little bit thicker, 35. Okay, all right, so there's a little box. We're gonna go ahead and lock it. So rectangle dot lock equals true. Cancel that. All right, so we got locked it so it won't move. Okay, so now we're gonna color it black though. So color dot black rect dot color equals color dot black. Need a semicolon. Rect dot field color. I'm sorry. Okay, so that's the inside. That's the field color. That's color dot black. All right. So now, if something happens to be true, then we want to plot it as having a plot as being orange. So we're going to essentially say, if we have a higher high and a higher low, then we want this rectangle's color to change to be an orange. So if higher high, higher low, then update color. We're going to make that a method. So the method has to come right after the inputs and the namespaces and everything like that. So method void update color. We don't have any inputs there. We're just going to begin, end, and then we're going to say that rect.color is equal to color.orange. What? Will that work? I don't think. This must be an update. I don't think that they've always had orange as a standard color that will work for TradeStation. So are we saying that this is true for today? That it has a higher high and a higher low? I'm thinking that it just set it to orange on its last higher high, higher low, and then it just didn't change it back after. So if higher high, higher low, then update color, color.orange, else. And I mean, you can make another method for this. Let's do this a couple ways. I'm gonna show you a few things here. Else rec dot field color equals color dot black. So to change it back to black. Yeah. All right. So let's see. Is there a chart right through here that does have a higher high and a higher low on today? Yes. NVIDIA has a higher high and a higher low for the day. Okay. All right, so you see that box is orange. Now if we go back to Apple, Apple has a lower high and a lower low, so it's black. Okay, so NVIDIA and Apple. All right, so let's go back here. And so what you could do is you could make something like here. So for update color, instead of having a two-word, having a statement with two components, you could just say that if higher high, then higher, if higher high, higher low, then update color. You're going to insert 1 in there. Else, you're going to update color, insert. Let's say 2, but let's say 1 is good to go, 0 is not good to go. All right, so essentially you're passing this value into this method. Well, how does it handle the value? It handles the value inside the parentheses. So it's an integer. So we'll call that integer y. And so now that this number came into this method, it becomes integer y. It already declares the integer. It becomes integer y. Now we can do whatever with y whatever we want to. Okay. So now that we have y, now within the method we'll say if y equals 1, then color dot, then fill color equals color dot orange. Else rect dot fill color equals color dot black. Okay, now that we verified it, okay, it's verified. Boom, boom. All right, now we come back over here. It's showing the exact same thing. NVIDIA there, Apple here, black. Okay. All right. So one other way that you could do it is you could say we could do a case switch, and I'm merely doing this out of practice, guys. I mean, I promise you, we could have done it the first way and left it alone, but now we've done it we're doing it 3 ways, right? So, and again, how are you going to get better at anything without practicing, without going through the motion? So case switch is something that I've known about. I've been a little bit afraid to use it, but I've been using it a lot here recently in my strategies. So for instance, when you take a position on, when you get into a position, if the volume is a little bit low, you might want to do this. If the volume is a little bit medium, you might want to do this. If the volume is really high, you might want to do this. So using case switch, you can get into the same position, and then with all those 3 different criteria, you can have a different stop loss or different take profit for each one. So it makes your script, I mean, it opens the world up. So I'm using it more, and again, I got, just practicing with it. All right, so again, we're going to use switch. And what are we going to switch? We're going to switch y. Okay, y is right here. That's what came in. And so we're going to have, after switch, you do begin, and then you have an end, and then you have case. So case what? Case y equals 1. So case of, or y equals 0. Case of 0, you're going to have rect dot fill color equals color dot black. Okay, and in the case of y equaling 1, you will have rect dot fill color equals color dot orange. Okay, and then you do need a default case, if I'm not mistaken. And I forget how you write that, but I think you do default. Just do that. You don't have to do default case, just do default, and then you can just really do anything. It just needs to have a default. Okay, hit verify. All right, so here we are back with Apple. It's still black. We don't have any issues. It verified fine. It's still black. And now we'll go to NVIDIA. Is it orange? It is orange. Okay, so again, we did the same thing. We made the same statements 3 different ways. Okay, we did it down here. We did it within a method, and then we also within a method we use a case switch. So don't be afraid to think. Don't be afraid to try things. Don't be afraid to be wrong. Promise you, I'm wrong plenty. But I've been listening to motivational videos a lot here recently. Listening to Les Brown, and it's still stuck in my head for like 2 weeks now. Because I consider myself to having met a certain level of success, and so I'm happy with that. But and he said it's like, you know, you've done as well as you've done because of the things you've done. But essentially you're not as good as you could be, or you haven't, or you failed, or you haven't accomplished the things that you want to. You haven't accomplished the things that you haven't accomplished because of the things you haven't done, right? And so, you know, how many things do we keep putting off? Do we keep putting off and then still expecting to excel and to succeed and to and to, you know, manifest these elaborate things when all those other things that we are not doing, try them. You know, try them. I mean, you're where you are now because of the things you're doing now. So now is fine. I mean, there's nothing more to do about that. But if you want to be able to do something different, then do something different. Yeah. I mean, so my brain is still wrapped on that. So I'm in go mode right now. I'm really in go mode. All right, so I did work on another one of the rectangles on another chart, and this was essentially it. But I mean, it's just as easy as this other one. But again, it depends on what you want. So on this one, also it was saying and I think for this one I wrote it that that if the current bar is open, if the current bar is over the high of a day ago, then we're going to draw a green rectangle. All right, so this is the script that I wrote for that one, and you guys can just kind of go over it or look at the screen and copy and paste it into your stuff, or you can go over to my Discord, and if you want me to upload it in the ELD so you can just download it, then, you know, just let me know. Okay, but essentially, like I said, here we're just saying that if we have a new day, then we're going to go ahead and begin creating a new rectangle with these values, add the rectangle to the chart, and then if the open of the day, if the open of the current bar happens to be greater than the high of yesterday, then we're going to update the rectangle. So we're going to update the rectangle so it just keeps moving to the right hand side of the screen. All right, but how long have I been on? An hour 13 minutes. Not bad, not bad. Sometimes I run these things for 2 hours, but I'm gonna get off here. Guys, I hope you got a little something out of today's brainstorming strategy session. But have any questions? Drop them down in the comments. Send me a message. Shoot me an email. Join the Discord. Hit the subscribe button. Definitely hit the subscribe button. I try to do a video of some component of programming every day. Pretty much every day I'm learning something new, and I try to share those new things with you. But you know, sometimes we have breakthroughs, sometimes we don't, but every day, like I said, we just keep plugging away. All right, guys, I'm Eric. I'm out. Peace.